Morning, folks. Welcome back to the channel. I am Dalton. We're headed into Armson Farms for another lovely day of work. Last night, the first night in 8 to 10 nights, we did not get rain last night, which is pretty awesome. So 2 nights ago, we got like 1 1/3 inches. Last night, or the night after that, we got like 7/10. Then we haven't gotten anything today, and there's no rain on the forecast for today. It's supposed to be cloudy and 54. So not exactly nice, but not a lot of rain, a heavy dew, as you can see. But anyways, we're gonna head into work. Probably just do our normal chores kind of day. I do have one project I have to get figured out today, and I will show that to you guys. Let me show that to you guys when I get into work. I'm not gonna spoil the surprise, but yesterday we had a little bit of an issue. Yeah, so stay tuned for that. Hit that like and subscribe button, guys. Follow along. Crack open a monster. You're gonna need it, just like I am. And let's get through this day together. Let's do it together, guys. Well, good thing I didn't hold my breath. I just went up to check on the maternity pen. By the time I get out, it's not raining, but it's misting. So, I mean, it only makes sense. We probably shouldn't go a whole day without precipitation. So. Yeah, it's really putting a damper on it because we can't do anything in the fields. We can't do anything construction-wise. I mean, we're getting a lot of like little stuff done. Tyler did an absolute bang-up job on this fence. I'd love to fix the trench that they put down through here when they ran that internet line, but you literally, if you step on that dirt, you sink 10 inches. So there ain't anything I can do about that. But yeah, we're getting a lot of that kind of stuff done. All of our pens are now clean. We cleaned all of our box stalls. Again, just to have it done. So we're getting a lot of that kind of stuff done. It's just not the stuff we'd like to be doing. For reference, guys, last year we were chopping our triticale today. We had mowed it 2 days ago, and all of our corn was planted except for the triticale ground. So we had 800 acres corn in the ground already, and we were harvesting stuff. And it's gonna be next week before we can even think about thinking about doing anything. So what are you gonna do? That's farming. All right, so what we have, we've got a Richardson 960 dump cart that we were getting out and getting ready. This side of the rim doesn't actually look that bad, but the other side, if I were to flip it over, everything up here is really thin, but the dish is good. So I've got a bunch of 20.8 38s on rims, but they're different size hub, 13-inch instead of 11 1/4. So what we're gonna do is take this rim and one of those rims with a tire on it up to the welding shop. They're gonna cut the ring out of the middle, weld it on, basically making one rim and tire that we can use out of two. Like I said, that didn't look that bad from the back side, but the front side where the valve stem is really, really in rough shape. In fact, I tried to air it up because I had a flat tire, and the valve stem just fell right off. Like the whole, like the metal around the valve stem, not just the valve stem. Like the whole thing was pretty whooped. So I'm gonna put the ball on my truck. We'll hook up to that lawnmower trailer. Grandpa's gonna get the skid steer and the pallet forks. Meet me up at the barn where we've got our spare John Deere tires, and see if we can't get one of those tires. Then I'm gonna come down. We're gonna see if we can get that off. We don't have a set of spoons. Maybe we'll cut the old tire off. I don't know. It's shot. So see if we can get it off, and then we will. Oh, that's a crescent wrench. See if we can get the tire off. We'll take the rims up to the welding shop and see what they can do. Something that I'm probably capable of doing, but those things carry a lot of weight. And my luck, I'd weld it and it'd snap the first day, and I'd be like, oh shit, should've just took it somewhere else anyway. So that's the plan. See how it goes. Alrighty. Grandpa's gonna come up. So that one, and that one are 20.8 38s on rims. Those I think are 18 442s, I think. A lot of 18-438s, old duals off of, you know, back when the 4840 and the 4430, and we used to have a 6030. I think we used to have a 5020. You know, so these are all just old tires and duals off of those that are still good. Someday I'd really like to get a nice 2-cylinder, like a 60, 70, something like that. John Deere G. Strap a set of these tires on it. They're right about perfect for the county fair. But yeah, that's future. For now, Grandpa's gonna get up here. He's gonna tell me which one of these he wants me to pull out of here. And we'll have to move some of our old parts stuff here. We got our old defacer frame, which I'm just noticing actually still has motors on it. Bunch of lights that we took out when we put in the halo LEDs. So we'll have to move this stuff out of the way, but yeah, I'm not sure which one. Those two are matching. That one's I think that's a brand new tire. So brand new tire, probably don't need to put it on a dump cart, but at the same time, matching set, probably be good to keep them matching. But I don't know. Either way's fine. It's better than buying a rim and buying a tire. So yeah, we'll see what he says. We went with the new one. That way the other ones are still a matching set. Good deal. Gonna throw it on the trailer and go get that old rim. See if we can get that tire off first, obviously. Decided maybe we should just take them up one at a time. We were gonna go down and throw that other tire on. That's a lot of weight. It's a lot of weight for that little trailer, so we'll just take them up one at a time, play it safe. Also, I'd like to add, it really pays to have a really good network of people to reach out to with problems like this, because you know, my dad was the first one that was like, well, you can't find a rim, because rims were gonna take like 3 weeks to come in. A new rim. Had a guy say 2 weeks. Even had a guy say 10 days, which was really good. But hopefully we need it before then. You know, hopefully this weather gives and we can get rolling on triticale before that. Hopefully. Doesn't appear to be doing that, but we don't really want to risk it. And then my dad said, well, what if you were to, you know, swap out the hubs or have someone weld a new axle on so you can put a John Deere hub to fit this? It's like, yeah, it's an option. And then Andy over to Freedom Tire, those of you guys in Western New York, you should reach out to him. He's really, really good, especially at finding rare stuff. That's why I reached out to him. I said, well, maybe he can find me something. And he had 3 different options. One was a new powder coated rim. That was gonna be like 10 days. The other option was to get a new just outer ring. And he's the one that first said, if you get the outer ring, you can cut the inside of yours out. I said, well, the rim's shot. He said, yeah, but the inside wouldn't be. He said, those are usually real thick. He said, I've never seen one go bad. You should be all set. I said, well, okay, well, maybe we'll buy the outer ring. And then I got thinking, well, heck, we've got outer rings. You know, it's just we've got outer rings on rims. Just got to have someone good enough to cut it. And then I'm like, well, we live a mile from AgriFab. And Martin's, they do all kinds of grain bin work and stuff like that, but they also have a fab shop. And they do a lot of these, you know, little jobs for us. It works out really well. So Grandpa went up this morning and they said, yeah, sure, we can do that. It's like, problem solved. Like, instead of, and that's another thing we are saving. All said and done, we're going to save probably $2,000 on this gig, because a new rim pretty much everywhere was $1,500 to $1,600, and then we would have had to have a tire company put this tire on the new rim, so that would have cost us money. Now, these guys say they might be able to do this all with this tire mounted on the rim, so we might be in really good shape. Not we might be, we are. We're in really good shape. So this all is working out really good. It just goes to show, though, having a big network of people to reach out to, bounce ideas, questions, stuff like that off of, pays off every single time. Don't ever be embarrassed to just shoot someone a text, give someone a call, you know. I actually called a buddy of mine at the farm I used to work at, because they have a twin to our dump car. I said, I bet you he has a spare. Maybe I could borrow his spare until a new rim were to come in. He said, you know, I just sent that whole cart to Waterloo. That whole cart's going to get auctioned off next week. And I said, son of a gun, we could have bought a whole nother cart for like 12 grand. Like, when we need a second one to begin with. So as it is, we might still go look into that cart. But also, his tires ended up being the same as our John Deere tires. So they must have swapped the hubs out previously to match all their tires as well. So, all right, we're here. That's how close it is. It's very, very close. Gonna get this tire unloaded, and then we'll go clean up that old rim. All right, we got the other tire loaded on. We don't have tire spoons, and it was gonna be miserable trying to do that with anything else. So we're just gonna take it up to them. All they're doing is cutting the dish out of it. So I tell them to keep the fire extinguisher handy, but I don't think it'll bother at all. It's still kind of misting, and fun fact, stuff is soft. We almost got the skid steer planted up at that barn trying to get the tire out of there. I mean, it was the lawn that's usually hard and dry, like hard. Never has even thought about being even slippery. Yeah, we almost planted her up there, so we got lucky. But we'll go drop this one off and let those guys do real good work. So the only thing I got to explain to them is the offset of the rim is a little bit different on this tire than that tire, because you can't have the dump cart tire hitting the cart. So it's got to be offset out a little bit. So I have to talk to them about the offsets. But other than that, I think we're going to be golden. And this is going to, like I said before, this is just going to be a win-win here for us, I think. All right, so tires are all up there. They're going to get that taken care of. What I'm going to do next, I'm a little nervous about because I am not a mechanic, but inside of this box here, I got to take that shield off. And there's a solenoid in there that controls the up and down on this corn planter. Those of you guys who watched me when I was getting this ready, it was having all kinds of issues going up and down. So I wasn't sure. I talked to a couple guys, our mechanic Brian, and according to the book and according to them, it's either a check valve or a solenoid. The check valve we were actually unable to find. That's still a mystery, but we did get the solenoid in, so I'm gonna go ahead and try to change that. Again, this is just precautionary. Currently, it's going up and down, which is what makes me nervous about it, because it's currently working and then I try to fix it and then it doesn't work. Well, who looks like the idiot? This guy. So a little bit nervous about that, but I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I did talk to Brian about it. He said to make sure the planter is down, so that way when I unscrew it, it doesn't drop. So these are the two pieces that they sent us. And it's not rocket appliances. I'm assuming this little nut here unscrews off of there, and that goes through. Maybe it goes through that way. I'm assuming it goes through like that. We'll take the shield off of that one and we'll look at it and we'll see what that one looks like after we take the shield off. All right, so I just pulled the cover off of here. Of course, the one we're looking for is this one, the S1. This one. So, gotta unplug it. And then, not totally sure. If I unscrew the top, take the top off, or do I unscrew the whole thing? We're gonna figure that out. Well, wasn't the right valve, or wasn't the right solenoid. So, back on the phone with Land Pro, sending them pictures back and forth, sending them serial numbers. There's 20 different solenoids. It's everything you do seems to be just an absolute headache. So I put the one that we had back on it, and we'll see what Land Pro comes up with as far as that goes. I was just talking with Jack, and we got some pretty exciting news as far as genomic results go. He said for the month of May, I think he said we have 4 animals in the top 200 of the breed. One of them is in the top 30 of the breed. That's a pretty big deal for us. That's really, really exciting. And just on a personal level, one of my wife's cows, she's a captain. I've showed her to you guys before, 2-year-old. She had a sheepster, and she's number 6 at the farm, which I realize that's not in the breed, but just being number 6 on our farm is pretty cool, considering none of our animals have ever been in the top, 10 of our farm. So slowly gaining. That's what happens when you just breed generation after generation after generation. Things improve, and every now and then you get lucky and you get a really good one. And So the 4, I think he said all 4 are out of 6491, who I believe is a captain. Yeah, like I'm almost certain she was a captain. And the calves are sheepsters. So that's really exciting. That's really good for us. I'm really happy for my father-in-law. He really gets into the genetics and the genomics and studies bulls and knows the numbers and knows the cows and their dams and granddams, great-granddams. So when you get good results back, it's just really exciting. And it's kind of like a pat on the back. And, it's just like people who are into show cows. If you win at the county fair or the state fair, or I mean, in this instance, it would be like winning at Expo, really, when you're talking about a national level, national ranking for the Holstein breed. To have one in the top 30 it's a really big deal for us, and we're really excited. Now, I don't know if the animal will be under contract or anything like that. If she is, that's fine. Maybe she'll end up going to ST or something like that, and then maybe they'll buy them off. I don't know how that'll all pan out, but either way, that's really exciting for us. So I just wanted to share that because that's exciting. I keep using the same word, but it's really exciting. Which we need a little bit of excitement with the skies looking like that and the ground underwater. A little bit of positivity certainly doesn't hurt. Girlies. Well, now that we're done with that, I figured I'd swing over and give these guys a hand. The hoof trimmers here today. So I'm just gonna push these close-up cows onto the pack. If I can get this chain undone. Somebody really put that on there tight. I'm gonna go out there. Jack's got some cows marked. What are you, sweetheart? You're a nice Mandela heifer. Real nice Mandela heifer. He's got some dry cows marked, so I'm gonna go out, push him around here, and he's gonna be right up to help me sort them out, take them down to the hoof trimmer. All right, so we got those cows down there. They're just finishing up trimming them now. This is a cow that freshened here earlier, about an hour ago. I just gave her a drench, a couple Laxaid boluses, and looks like we're ready to go in the fresh group and get to eating, get to working. I'm a big girl. Nice shooter cow. Let's make room here, sweethearts. Got a couple in heat that are really stirring up the group. That one's really shined up, holy moly. All right, come on now. There you go. Time to go to work, sweetheart. All right, well, we're doing some bouncing around now, but Jack called. He wanted me to lock up 2 heifers for him. So I got the one locked up there, so I'm just looking for 6943 here. And you got the bottom feeders that like to lock. Those of you guys who aren't familiar with bottom feeders, watch this. They're heifers that come down through. Well, okay. All right, well, they're going to prove me wrong. There must have been a bottom feeder in here somewhere. What a bottom feeder is they're cows that'll go down through, and they won't stick their head all the way through the headlock. They'll just slide their nose down along that slant there, and they'll lock them all. They don't like to stick their heads through. They like to come in from the bottom instead of in the top, because the way these headlocks, they're on a full swivel, but when you lock them, they can't put their heads in from the bottom. So those bottom feeder heifers will go down through and they'll lock everything. And oh, is it frustrating? It is. It's really frustrating. But anyways, looking for that other heifer here. Yeah, see how these are all locked? Are you the culprit? Let's find out. No, I guess not. All right, well, I don't know which one the bottom feeder was, but you can see these are all locked. Little tool bags, aren't ya? These are all just a bunch of tool bags. There is way more than 2 in heat in here, but we are saving them. We're gonna be putting embryos in. So we're lining those heifers up for a flush. Well, she's not up here, so I guess we gotta walk around and find her. There you are. You was just taking a little snoozer, weren't you? All right, so this is the downfall of being in an overcrowded barn, is we've got way more heifers in each group than we have in headlocks. So I threw a little orange paint on her. We're gonna take her out front, I'll shut the gates so she's locked out front, and I'll have to let a couple out of the headlocks, and I'll try to get her enticed in there with a little bit of grain or something. Sometimes they're really good. Sometimes it's a really frustrating process. Hopefully this is a good one. And bingo. She was ready for a snack, so that worked out pretty easy. This is how Jack knows. So when he brings the semen down to breed, he'll go in the back. The ones with feet on them are the ones that he knows to breed. I've seen some farms use clips. People use all kinds of things, but for us, it's just simple. When you let them out, it falls down and it's all cleaned up. You don't got to worry about the clips or anything like that to mark them. It's simple, works. All right, I'm gonna wash my boots and go see what else we got going on here. The day's kind of winding down. All right, so to finish my day out here, I just locked up these two groups of cows. I'm gonna go down through, and any cow that's missing an ear tag, like this one, we're just gonna write her a blank. My father-in-law knows all the cows by heart. I don't, most of us don't. So if we're out giving shots or trying to sort cows, and say this cow's laying in a stall and she's got that ear down, you know, it's hard to see. So we're gonna go down through and just put these second tags in the other ears. They already have the hole from the previous one. Most of them will just get stuck on a headlock or something like that and just pop them out, just like an earring. I mean, they come off, okay, not as easy as an earring, but they'll pop off from time to time, and I've noticed it's starting to get a little bit bad. So while I had some time here, we're gonna go down through and make sure that these two pens are pretty well buttoned up in that regards to finish the day out. Well, I was wrong. That's not how I was gonna finish out my day. Had a half hour here. Tyler got available. So we came up here. We had just moved a group of calves out of here this morning. So we moved all the hutches here and we're loading up this pack manure. That's how we're gonna finish the day out. Load this load up. I'll kind of clean it up with the skid steer when he's done and throw it in the bucket for him, and we're gonna call it a day. But that's gonna do it for today's video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Say a prayer for your farmers. We're a little miserable. Miserable is just the right word. This weather's just depressing. We just want to be out. We want to get going on stuff. Every day it rains, it's just another day or more that we got to keep putting off all of our spring work. So it's going to start affecting everything here pretty soon. So yeah, say a prayer for the farmers. Yeah, watch them on YouTube. It's a good thing to do. So hit that like and subscribe button, guys. We'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.